Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hope you're well, and wishing you a wonderful and a special Sunday evening, 17th of the 5th, 2020, and welcome to my regular channel, regular discussion, and on a Sunday evening in preparing for the next week, the following day. I think everybody's somewhat getting ready to get back to life, get back to work. For those who have not been working, so many things have been happening. Now tonight, my plan, I say to people sometimes that when you're into this sort of field, anything may happen, anything may go, and I had planned, my lovely plan. Spoke to Dr. David Burton, and I said, listen, we're going to go live, and what we're going to do, we're going to look at the recent updates in the UK in regards to PPE, in regards to where things are happening, in regard to the easing down of lockdown, and then we'll sail across to Jamaica as well to talk about some new developments over there in regards to COVID-19. David did one when David said, I'm a doctor, I'm on standby, so therefore anything may happen to be on a call. So I said, David, if you're going to call, tell them to call you when you're on the show. So therefore, it shows the level of honesty and say, hey, we're getting, or if you can't make it, send your wife. Anyway, just a few minutes before, David said, SYLBOURNE, man, as I said to you, I got the call. So unfortunately, Dr. David Burton won't be here today. And we're going to come back maybe tomorrow night or so, where we're going to catch up on the different things. That is understandable, ladies and gentlemen. That is understandable, right? Because it is important that our doctors and our medical practitioners are on the front line. Being on the front line is not saying that it is something that they have not been used to. It is something that they're used to, something that they are trained for. And it is important. So what we do, we give them the amount of support as much as possible. Unfortunately, tonight, I'm even going live on 3 platforms. I'm going live on Instagram, I'm going live on Facebook, and I'm going live on YouTube. Okay? 3 platforms that I'm going live on. And I tell you what, one of the exciting things about COVID-19, not exciting about the death in regards to COVID-19, but one of the exciting things is how many people have stepped out of their comfort zone and doing things which they're normally not used to do. Okay? And I believe that is something which is crucial, and that is something which is fundamental. And I believe that people who are planning or have plans to go back to the work that they used to do, may not be there anymore. But at the same time, they are preparing themselves for other things. Okay? And I believe that is something which is exciting. For me, personally, myself, I've developed on a lot of more doing videos and doing these talks more often. Not that I wasn't doing it before. I've been doing this from 2015 on the SYLBOURNE Show, and developed on different strands of the show over the years and over the time. So therefore, so I've just been developing as much as possible and learning different craft within this particular industry of media, even though I'm a lawyer. So many people are doing different things, and it is exciting. Hence the reason why I created the shows, which is called the Business and Lifestyle Live, where I look at different issues and I touch base on different things, and I bring people in from different professions to come and talk. Yeah. Now, there's something brewing in Jamaica, which I'm going to touch on later. It's about a ship. I'm going to touch on that a bit later. But first of all, let's look and what's been happening in the UK from my perspective of what I've seen. I don't know if you've seen this or have you sensed this, but that there is a easing of the lockdown, not just by what the Prime Minister is saying that persons need to, stay alert, keep safe, control the virus. And I see some videos going around where it says, go to work, don't go to work. Go to work, don't go to work. See your friend, whatever like that. See your family, one person at a time. Yeah. But it seemed like people have somewhat easing the lockdown themselves somewhat. People seem to be easing the lockdown themselves. I don't know if you have sensed that, and what's your take on that? If you believe that, if you sense that people have somewhat, hi, Adrian, how are you doing? If somewhat people have somewhat, ease on the lockdown. The recent one, and if I'm just looking at a couple of things here in the news where they're talking about over 4.6 million coronavirus cases have been reported globally. Yeah, according to John Hopkins, and the total death toll has risen to more than 312,000. Okay. Now, in the bigger picture of that is coming from the worldwide, where I have this massive tally. I won't go into that too much. We've discussed that many times as well. Many people have discussed it as to the authenticity of the figure. Many people have discussed it as to if everyone was died is of COVID, just because a trailer or a tractor run over someone, really, is it COVID? Now, that is pointing towards maybe a conspiracy theory, and I don't want to go down that particular route. The UK daily figure for coronavirus has dropped to 170, the lowest since the day after lockdown. Now, that is good news. That is good news because it seems like things are actually settling down. And the most important thing at the same time, while it is settling down, is that people somewhat are sensing that I need to get back to work. I need to get back to life. I need to make sure that I'm funding for my family. I need to somewhat be in control, because many people have said that they have not been in control. Yeah? What do you think? Let me see if I can get this up. I'm trying to get something up. Okay. All right. Spare me 1 second. Please share and like this video as much as possible. Unfortunately, as I promised, well, not as I promised, as I said in my video earlier when I was promoting this, I said I'll have David, Mr. Dr. Burton here tonight. Unfortunately, Dr. Burton, as a medical practitioner, had to go to the hospital, and that is important. So if you don't see Dr. Burton, I'm not Dr. Burton. I'm just giving a layman's analysis and look at some things. And of course, it'd be great for persons to also share their comments. I'm going on live on Instagram, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. The power of these great things. And guess what? For persons who are on Facebook and use Facebook a lot, Facebook has now allowed persons to have the split screen. So we can go on that. Yeah. The UK is providing an additional 84 million to accelerate the search for a vaccine, according to today by the business secretary Alex Sharma. Right? Many discussions have been had about vaccines. I think there was a doctor, I believe he's from Jamaica, was talking about that. What's the sense of vaccines when what you should be doing is to strengthen your immune system? Yeah, strengthening your immune. So the big discussion and the big argument, as people will be analyzing and going forward, will be saying, vaccine or no vaccine? If I don't have vaccine, will my children go to school? Will I be able to? Will I be able to have a bill of health, right? Eventually, to go to where I want to go. Those are some of the things which are coming. People have contacted me somewhat and said, so many laws have been passed, so many regulations have been passed over this period of time since coronavirus, and somehow people have a sense that they have not been somewhat consulted. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that MPs were actually saying at one point that we need to recall back Parliament because because people are somewhat feeling that they are not being consulted in regards to coronavirus, regarding these various lockdown and these various rules and these sort of regulations. People are sometimes even saying something which I believe is OTT, but I don't know if it's OTT. I just sense it is OTT. But that is something else to be considered. So people are actually analyzing this, because I think, and this is just my perspective, and for you to think about this as well, when the Prime Minister is talking about go to work if you can, stay home if you can, I think what he's actually doing, and I'm not being political now, I'm being practical, I think what he's actually saying is somewhat turning it back over to the people. Turning back over to people to use, I'm not going to say British common sense, but to take charge, to somewhat take charge at the same time. You know? And then the other side of the question is, so if you cannot go to work, you stay home. And if you cannot stay home, you go to work. And you also don't use the public transport. So therefore, how are you going to get around in everything? If you're going to work in London and you're not use the public transport, then are you going to use your car? And if you use your vehicle, what you have seen recently by Sadiq Khan, the mayor, because completed TFL has been wiped out, apparently within a month and a half, whereby they had a massive hole. And as a result of that, TFL, which is Transport for London, for those who are not knowledgeable of and are not from the UK, Transport for London was lacking resources. And as a result, guess what was going to happen? Yes, they're going to shut it down. So therefore, congestion charge also is going up. And if congestion charge is going up from 12 to 15 pounds, many people are unfortunate that live in that area, like people like Jamaica, who live in those areas whereby they're within that sort of area. And as a result of that, they can somewhat manage, but persons are not to take the train. Hi, guys. Hello. I don't have my glasses, you know what I mean? Overly great, Arosta, Sonia Powell. Hey, hello. Hey, Emeka, how are you? You see, I sent you a picture today. Actually, I'm going to talk to everybody, you know what I mean? Just talk, let's have a chat, because since Dr. David is not here, everybody's going to chip in and be a part of the show. You're all on my red chair. You're all on the red chair today. The red chair with SYLBOURNE. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You're all on the red chair. Did you see the video of the picture of your daughter and the team when you guys were actually campaigning for me in some elections? And I sent it to you, which was very interesting. Good evening, Doreen Phipps and Adrian Dawkins. Good evening. Lauren Foster, good evening as well. And those on YouTube, good evening as well. The topic of the moment is that, and the point I was at was when I said that the Prime Minister was saying, and he's saying, go to work, do not go to work. Go to work if you can go to work. Yeah. I sent it actually, Emeka. I sent it to you on Instagram. If anything, I'm going to WhatsApp it to you, but I was waiting for a response. Yeah. I look at it as he's saying, take back control. People to take back control, because the nanny state, which I believe sometimes is very it's not something which is great. I sense that COVID-19, like the Prime Minister of Jamaica said, is going to be around for a long time. I believe it's going to be something like measles, mumps, AIDS, those sort of things that live with you, but you've got things that build up yourself around it, build up your immune system, making it strong, making it bold, as the doctor was actually saying. Another doctor, not David, was actually saying that vaccines upon vaccines upon vaccines is counterproductive in a way. Yes, it is good where persons have certain stringent factors and certain different things, but for people normally, what he said you should do is eat properly. Get your vitamin D, get your vitamin C, get all of those things in your body, strengthen yourself, do some exercise, cut down on the sugar, cut down on those things as much as possible, right? So your body can fight it, right? Now, I don't know many people here at COVID-19, I said COVID-19, anybody here of COVID-19, and if you have COVID-19 or so, they say somewhat your immune system is being built and you're strengthening and you're ready for the world. Did I? Am I? I don't know. Maybe I did have it. I think I did have it. Many people believe they had it, but they weren't tested. 6 weeks ago, in February, like part of February, I think I had it. And so like that, many people I know somewhat think they had it. Somebody said they think they had it 3 times. So therefore, maybe people are being strengthened and be built up, So the point is that things are somewhat getting back to a sense of normality, but it won't be the sense of normality as one is used to. It's going to be a different type of normality, I believe. What do you think? Do you think it's going to go back to this? Do you think you're going to go back to work? Do you think you're going to go back to the same office situation where everybody's around, everybody coughing and breathing? Do you think there's going to be social distance period going on? Everybody's going to be social distancing. Stay away from it. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know. Definitely think we all do. We all did. However, we thought it was a flu. There you are. There, here someone said, believe that we all did, but somewhat, you know. So it's like, so when Boris Johnson was talking about the herd thing whereby let's get everybody to get it going, oh, yes, and we can get strong and blah blah blah. Somewhat, maybe it made sense, but at the same time, is it at the expense of 30,000 people who died? Right? Did the UK act properly? Was everybody following the signs and not maybe following logistics properly and following proper leadership, analyzing what the science says? Or is the science was just a science? Everybody's saying the science, following the science, following the science. New Zealand, what did they do? Did they follow the science or did they follow the leader? Germany as well. At the same time, while things are being, what they say, while things are being, what's the right word? Eased. While things are being eased, there are some countries where it is somewhat picking up, right? Maybe not the same picking up as it started, you know. And when I think about Jamaica, for argument's sake, and we have seen the work of the team in Jamaica, the Prime Minister Chris Tufton, my guest, Minister of Health, who came on my show last week. You have no choice as a decent person or so to really commend them for what they're doing. At present in Jamaica, based on what is tested, I believe they said there's over 500 persons who have COVID, and of those, some have recovered, I believe, and about 9 deaths, I believe. I believe that is the figure. So therefore, they have been on it. Of course, it's a small island. It's 2.5 to 3 million people. The UK is over 50 million. Am I correct? You know. So therefore, it is difficult because you got Wales. You also have Northern Ireland. You got Scotland. Scotland is saying we are maintaining the keeping the lockdown as it is. Wales having their own thing. UK having their own thing. So everybody's operating differently. Emily Reynolds, if we had a healthy population, the herd immunity tactic would work. If we had a healthy population. Right. So therefore, I guess what you're saying then, Emily, is because we do not have that healthy population, then what would happen is, since we don't have a healthy population, we've got to look out for those who are not healthy. We've got to look out for those who are, have, what should I say, underlying sickness. Dan Samuels, he said, Jamaica doing a good job. Indeed. That seems to be what the order for days. Jamaica is doing a fantastic job. But let me just sail away from the UK by just dropping in some couple other points, just to make some sort of record at the same time. The UK is providing an additional 84.8 million that is searched for the vaccine, which I mentioned already. Spain records 87 deaths in the past 24 hours, the first drop under 100 since the lockdown began. In the US, former President Barack Obama criticized his successor for his handling of the response. Everybody's criticizing everybody now and stuff like that. The question is, if you were there, what will you do? It's new territory, charted, new territory, so everybody has the right to criticize. Everybody, not in the driving seat, believe that they knew better. What can I say? Every man, more if you talk. More than 311,000 people globally have now died, and more than 4.6 million are infected, right? And as for the UK, what they said, for the first time since its own lockdown started, Spain has reported fewer deaths. India has extended its nationwide lockdown until 31st of May, although they are considered relaxation. So that is it as well. 13 sailors on the American aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt have reportedly tested positive to coronavirus for a second time. It's unclear whether they were reinfected or if the virus remained in their blood from their first positive test. Now, this is where David would come in right now and elaborate on. So, David, We're going to touch on that one when we come back on the scene, right? At least 13 sailors in the American aircraft carrier U.S. Theodore Roosevelt have reportedly tested positive for coronavirus for a second time. So therefore, 13 sailors, second time, tested for COVID-19. What they're saying, it's unclear whether they were infected or if the virus remained in their blood from their first positive test. The question is this: if you had COVID-19, is the symptoms or the infection still in your blood? Right? That's a big question. Should you have a permanent isolation? Right? When children go back to school, as some are actually saying, we're not going to go back to school, we're going to go back to school. Medical fraternity, I believe, is supporting the teachers, say we're not going back to school because children are deemed to be persons who have the virus or travel with it, but it doesn't affect them. So therefore, if it doesn't affect them, they are potential threats to teachers who are elderly, older, underlying sickness. Everybody's got to do so. Social distance for the children. Children could be coming from a home whereby the family has COVID-19, not being tested, and as a result of that, they go to school with it. Guess what? They meet with their friends catch it, friends don't show any symptoms, they go back home. Teachers who are there maintaining, monitoring, keeping social distance with the children, you got to have some hands on there, become infected. I think there's some practicalities. I'm not speaking doom or gloom, but looking at some practicalities as to why people sometimes have some reservation about going back. So the big question is, and if persons would say this, and this I love for you to say this to me now, is this, talk to me now, is, do you support going back to school at this time? Do you think it is wise, or just shut down school until September for the sake of life? Yeah? Think about that for a second. How can they be positive if they are normally not based on land? How can they be positive if they are normally not based on land? Dan Summers, you got to repeat that one again. Are you talking about the 13 sailors who were tested positive again? I think, in a sense, because they're on a ship or whatever like that, then they would somewhat be around other persons, and maybe it is just circulating in the atmosphere. Lorna Foster said Jamaica's got the best solutions of dealing with COVID. Only 9 deaths so far, right? COVID will be around for a very long time. It will be the new norm, sadly. Dan Sam, in relation to the children, what about the inflammatory disease that they are now reporting in the children? Yes, that's another thing as well about that inflammatory disease. I think it is in the United States or New York, they're talking about it. I don't know if it is much here, but my conclusion, if anything, and I would more want to play safe. I would want to play safe, but while playing safe, it's the detriment of the economy, where many people are saying that people will suffer at the same time as a result of their livelihood being completely depleted. Where I live, I know a couple. There's a convenience store who a couple of the schools in the area has given them names of over 25 and 40 families who are actually suffering in relation to food. Food banks are stretched at the same time, and that convenience store. And I'm going to do a video of it because I was there helping them to pack the baskets, and also did a brief interview, and also spoke to one of the principal and so I put that video out to see what other persons are actually doing. So people are actually suffering at the same time in regards to COVID-19 as a result of the effect of not being at work, not going to work, and somewhat, in a sense, having difficulties. People are actually saying that just because the government has furloughed you, it's going to come back around in some respect. I actually said it the other day that it's going to come back around in some other ways, through taxation, through different things. TFL is increasing the whole thing already. Counter tax may be going up. So therefore, there's a kickback effect at the same time. But then, something that you need to think about, and everybody needs to think about this, and this is just me thinking as well, and think with me. They sometimes say that nation has no money. There's no money around. But one can say, boy, money I spent, you know, paying so many people, you know, government's paying, throwing money for vaccine and everything, like 84 million. The big question now is this, and it's a controversial question I'm going to put out now. What's the relevance of austerity? What's the relevance of austerity? Right? Right? What's the relevance of austerity if there's always money? Money seems to fly. Right? If there's a war that comes up now, money will spend to somewhat get those guns, get those ammunition to get going. Austerity, is it necessary? That's a big question. I'm just throwing this off. Well, Silver, you're a part of the Conservative Party. You know about all of this. Are you switching sides? No, I'm just regurgitating and just hearing what people saying and just putting things out there. I'm being a conduit, hearing different voices and just speaking up. You know, some people are in relation to children. What about some people are asymptomatic? So unless they're tested, the virus may not be detected and they can be carriers. And that is something which everybody is saying, is that unless people are tested, they will never know, and they'll be walking around as if happy-go-lucky, things are happy, and there they are infecting people left, right, and center. I mean, the other thing also, I need to go on to Jamaica, but the other thing also, which I wanted to flag up also, is these masks, right? I mean, mask is so much in people's head to the point that today I was trying to get a screen protector for my phone, and I went into the shop and I said I need a mask because the thing is cracked. And the guy was saying, well, mask, I don't understand. I said, I need a mask for the phone. And somebody said, you need screen protector? I said, oh yes, right. Screen protector. You know, we're talking about so much mask, you know. And then I also saw persons with these gloves, and you're seeing now lots of gloves on the ground, mask on the ground. So there's another epidemic which is going around where people are just littering the place with virus, littering the place with contaminated things. And then when persons have these gloves on, and I totally find it really silly and really totally ridiculous. I don't know if you do it, but this is my view. When you're walking around in gloves, and this is just me seeing videos, so it's not like I got this burst of inspiration, but I do agree when they say the amount of gloves that people are dropping on the ground, and they go into different places. I use my glove in that shop. I do my gloves there, because unless they're changing gloves every time they go somewhere, but they're using the gloves there. 1, 2, 3. A gloves over there, gloves down there, and a glove everywhere, and a glove down there. I've got my blue glove. I got my purple glove. And guess what? I'm free. I'm protected. But guess what they're doing? They're contaminating everything left, right, and center. Massive cross-contamination, which is happening. Silly move, totally. You know, so anyway, UK virus death dipped to the lowest since after lockdown. Council calls for 5 billion guarantee amid epidemic. PM accept frustration over lockdown rules. Dozens flout lockdown rules for park rave. You know, everything is COVID. But I want to go over to Jamaica because something is brewing at the same time over there in Jamaica, and what is brewing is about persons who are being, repatriated from different countries. One set of people the other day was saying that they were fed terrible food, and some of the food wasn't fit for purpose. Other persons were talking about the way how the health person test them for COVID. It was really bad. And so a lot of complaints, and the Prime Minister apologized, and the Minister, they apologized fair and square, and accept that they're being failing along the way, and therefore that needs to be sorted. But I do and have to still, amidst everything, amidst the negative bit, to do commend Jamaica at the same time. Do commend Jamaica as all they keep it, carrying the people with them. Yeah. How can they be, okay, Jamaica's got the best solution of dealing with COVID. Some people, okay, we need to be told more truth about this virus. Can the doctor tell us if this virus behavior is typical? The way it shuts down a wide range of organs. It also is so broad in how it breaks down the physiology. right? See, I'm scratching my head a while ago because I don't know what to say about that, but I see the practicality of what you're saying, Emil. And David should be coming on tomorrow night if he's not called back again. And that's a powerful question. And I believe people have been talking about, more truth about this virus. Can the doctor tell us if this virus behavior, is typical, the way it shuts down a wide range of organs? It also is broad in how it breaks down the physiology. And, Emil, it also breaks down people mentally as well. Sorry to say. Breaks down people mentally, psychologically as well. And that is one of the dangers as well, which is happening. But of course, that's one of the kickback effect of it. But there's a brew which is growing in Jamaica at this present moment. While I give kudos to the government, but there's also another thing which is growing. 1,044 ship workers coming, but government totally unprepared. 1,044 ships, 1,044 persons on a ship going to Jamaica, but government totally unprepared. Vernon Grandis, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, you may have seen my announcement earlier where I'm going to get Dr. David Burton on the show tonight, and that was a plan, as always a plan. Never fail, we always do it. But at the same time, he always puts a disclaimer, and the disclaimer, what he put is that, Silver, I may be on call, even though this is my working time, and he was on call. I was hoping that he could have got the call when we were going live, and then look so authentic as well. But he got the call before, so he alerted me. And so I'm there carrying it alone. News on Instagram here. I live in the UK. However, follow Jamaican news. As such, I took my son out of school over a week before the UK schools closed, based on what Jamaican government were announcing, and I'm glad I did as such. That's someone in Jamaica who mentioned that there. 1,044 ship workers coming, but government totally unprepared. Right? Jamaica Health Minister Dr. Christopherson said the local health system is totally unprepared for more than 1,000 ship workers due to arrive in Falmouth only on Monday. That is some more. What happened, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, lots of people work on ships, and as a result of that. No, sorry, you're in London. My apologies, Ed News. I live in the UK. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Follow Jamaican news. As such, I took my son out of school over a week, that's in the UK, before the UK school closed, based on what the Jamaican government were announcing, and I'm glad I did as such. Okay, so what someone is saying here on Instagram is that by following Jamaican news and following the Prime Minister in Jamaica, they took their child out of school a week before the lockdown over here, which was March 24th, on my birthday. The Prime Minister said, Silver, I've got to do it on your birthday, man. That's my gift to you. So persons actually following the leadership of the Prime Minister. So Jamaicans are aboard Royal Caribbean Cruise Line's adventure off the seas, which departed the Dominican Republic on Saturday after disembarking its nationals in La Romana. Speaking with the Gleaner on Saturday, Tufton described the impending return of the Jamaican as a surprise, saying he became aware of it only moments earlier. I've got a couple, what should I say, voicemail, and spoke to a couple persons, and it was felt that the recent trip to Jamaica by the 43 persons were just a tip of the iceberg. The 43 was just the one which was known, but apparently there's more, and even in the UK as well. So the minister said, I know nothing of it except I'm learning. We'll have to seek further information. He could not say whether other government ministers were aware. On May the 2nd, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson tweeted a copy of a letter from Royal Caribbean confirming that it was in discussion with the government to repatriate Jamaican crew members via the ship. Correspondents also said the crew members would be quarantined on board last night. Right? Last night, one of the Jamaican crew members told the Gleaner that in preparation for repatriation, some of the Jamaicans aboard the Adventure for Seas have been in quarantine for a month. Others who were transferred to the vessel from another have been in quarantine for almost a week. And so, as he announced by the captain, although the ship will arrive in Falmouth on May 18, tomorrow, there will be no documentation until May the 23rd. That's after 15 days quarantine for the transfer batch. But when they reach Jamaica, I believe they're going to be quarantined again. The woman who's in her 30s said, while the cruise line had done its best to make the workers comfortable, fatigue had now set in as they struggle to continue life in confinement. Do you know anybody who is on a ship? Ladies and gentlemen, anybody know anybody? I know one person said message earlier today. What they said is that, and I read what I think it's Lavina Brown said. She said, let me see some of the comments here. These are on Facebook. Let's using the different platforms there. Hear what she said about that. 1, 2. Where is it? The comment section. See if I can find it. Can't even find it on the phone. Here it is. What's the mess? So much government cares for the people they're supposed to govern. Oh, I'm not Jamaican, not a laborer. Someone said, my friend is on the ship and she's tired and drained from this railway. Let my people go home. Jamaican can take remittance and foreign exchange. They can take in the givers. This is scandalous and shameful. And there's a lawyer in Jamaica, apparently, who is taking on a case to sue the government as a result of what is about to happen. So therefore, I don't know if this relates to the same case, but I know people have been talking about it. And I know that there's a lawyer who's filing an application to sue the government for letting down the people as well. So that is very interesting. And it is disappointing. And I believe that if you or me or anyone who is a Jamaican find ourselves in a situation like this, we would like to know that the government is looking out for them as well. Even though at the same time, people have to look at the logistics, and people will say, well, at the same time, we've got to be very careful because we don't want to spread the virus. But, you know, just like Jodie and Farron, you know, just because someone is pregnant and they may be coughing or maybe they even have COVID, that's no reason to sort of ostracize them, push them aside because of scare. But I'm not saying that's the case there, but it somewhat shows that at the end of the day, no matter what, you know, medical practitioners and persons on the front line need to do their job diligently as well. And when I say that, I'm talking about like the government side as well. You know, on the front line, if that's your job, you got to do your diligence and you got to actually take the people back. So eventually, even not taking them back now, but eventually you got to take them back, and that is something. So someone said, it's crazy, like seriously, are we refugees? That's what someone questioned. Are we refugees in our own land trying to get back home, right? The government has imposed restrictions on incoming passengers as part of measures to contain the coronavirus in Jamaica. People are, however, being allowed to come back home through the control reentry program, but they must spend 14 days in mandatory state quarantine. So therefore, they're going through all these different quarantine on the boat, on the ship, and understandably because other people are around them. So when they come to Jamaica and they go to buy a principal or different hotels, then what's going to happen is that they are going to be quarantined again, right? They said at present, there are around 600 people in state quarantine or isolation, including 3 batches of Jamaicans who returned in the past week and a half, stretching the resources of the health system. First batch comprised workers of the Marla Discovery 2 who have been denied landed in April while in anchored at Port Royal. Health Minister said cruise lines sometimes provide inaccurate information. He cited the 6 repatriated Marla cruise ships who recently tested positive for coronavirus, although the local health authority were assured that all members were COVID-free. Someone said here, Elvin News, my friend, mom, and stepdad was on a cruise ship, which was quarantined. They had to stay on the ship for over a week before docking. The stepdad passed away from COVID weeks later. People must be quarantined, right? And what I'm sensing from the persons on the boat is that they're not actually objecting to be quarantined. They're objecting to not being allowed back home to the land of their birth. That's what I'm picking up there. They're not objecting to that. They want to come home. They want to come yard, right? There's rumbling concern that once a viable antivirus is developed, home quarantine for Jamaicans of accommodation in Jamaica could be feasible, as this would cut down the numbers of accommodation the government would have to find. Just a thought. Yeah, and I think the hotels are supporting that at this time. But if I just continue and wrap up at this point, according to the minister, it appears that the cruise industry is forcing the hand of the government, and that would be an indication of bad faith. However, Tufton said the government will have to find a way to handle the situation which require. I think upon looking at this and upon reading this, I think one of the best way to go forward is first to identify who are these persons, right? Who are these persons? And if they're Jamaicans, what one should be doing right away is start the process of getting them back home, right? As to when they get back home is another thing, but to start the process of getting them back home. That's what I think would be the first port of call. Have a default position, they must come home to the land of their birth and to their yard, because America is not going to accept them, UK is not going to accept them, no refugees are going to accept them at this time. So therefore, without a doubt, they must come home. The process of doing that is the key thing. The process of getting them into the country, into self-quarantine or stay quarantine for that process, and even the families, let the families bring them food. As some were saying, their families want to bring them food, but they weren't able to give them food as well. You know? So ladies and gentlemen, it is a challenging thing, but I would say that the government, without knowing anything, need to really just step up to the plate and get these people back home, quarantine them, use these hotels. A lot of these hotels are empty now. You know, the government is going to be doing a lot of things. Ed Bartlett is going to do a lot of things to do what he does best, market these hotels, get tourists back into the country. When that will happen, when tourists will start coming, we don't know. Yeah, but that is what should be happening. Utilize these hotels, utilize their services in the meantime. Get these people back ASAP, okay? Because at the end of the day, we can't run away from it. We can't leave them on the ship. We can't leave them in other countries while everybody's trying to lock down. And I believe that we're past the worst, right? In my summing up, I believe we are past the worst. And that's just my gut thinking. That's just my gut instinct. I don't know about you, but I think we are past. But at this point now, what we've got to do is to make sure that we protect, as the Prime Minister said, stay alert. Yeah. Stay alert. Control the virus. Stay alert. Control the virus. Go to work if you can go to work. Stay home if you can work from home. Don't take the public transportation. But if you have to, I don't know what you're going to do. If you drive into London, you're going to get congestion charge. But that is going. I don't know when that's going to start up. If you're on a motorway going to Kent and everything like that, that's a bit different because it's a bit more spacious and everything like that if you have to do that. But, you know, that's what is happening. There needs to be a process for people to go home. Agreed, Dan. They need a process. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's what I want to say. I actually filled in the gap. I hope successfully. Let me know if I filled in the gap successfully alone. And I did the overview of certain things, gave my perspective, which wasn't the medical perspective, but just from a humanistic perspective at this time. And you know, filling the gap for Dr. David Burton, who also filling the gap for me when Dr. Tufton came a bit late, which is understandable because that is what is happening now, right? So without further ado, thank you. You can go onto YouTube and you can watch this video and share the video on YouTube. Link is there, SYLBOURNE TV. Like and share and subscribe. Subscribe to the subscription is going up. And I tell you what, I was speaking to someone, and this is for free. Like person's videos, share person's videos, encourage person's videos. At this time now, a lot of people need that encouragement. Do that. Sometimes you might not even watch something, but just like it, if anything, and subscribe as much as possible, especially if someone that you know, someone of a business, whatever race it is, black business or whatever, a successful business. Because at this time now, everybody's looking for support in order to combat the economical side of this pandemic. It is not just health side, but the economic side. So we all play a part. We all play a part. So, peace out. All well. Emil, did I get a thumbs up? Do I get a thumbs up? Did I get a thumbs up for covering it well? Instagram, did I get a thumbs up? Facebook, did I get a thumbs up? And YouTube, did I get a thumbs up? Okay, I'm going to watch and best. Yeah. Have a good evening and God bless you. and may His peace be upon you. In Jesus' name. Okay, bye-bye.